Web technology is CSCS 205 accelerated. HTML stands for the Hypertext Markup Language, which is mostly used language on the web to develop the web pages. HTML was created by the Berners-Lee in 1991 in first standard HTML specification, which was published in 1995. HTML 4.01 was the major version of HTML and it was published in late 1999. And through the HTML 4.01 version is widely used extensible markup language such as HTML is used in the year of 2000, but currently we are having HTML5, which is an extension 4.0 and the version was published in 2014. HTML stands for the Hypertext Markup Language and it is widely used language to write the web page. Hypertext refers to the way the web page HTML document are linked together. Thus, the link available on the web page are called hypertext. As the name suggests, the HTML markup language is, which means to we use the HTML to simplify the markup text document with the tag and tell the web browser HTML. HTML was developed with the intent of defining the structure in the document like the heading, paragraph, list, and so forth to facilitate and sharing the scientific information between the researcher. HTML head title web page head body document body related tag body document body related tag body HTML title doc type dot HTML. This tag defines the document type on the HTML version. HTML tag includes the document HTML document and mainly comprise of the document header, which is represented by the head and the document body, which is represented by the body tag. HTML tag represents the document or header, which can include the HTML tags like title, link, etc. Body tag represents the document body, which gives other tags like the H1 division P. The tag represents the heading, the paragraph. This tag represents the paragraph basic of the HTML. HTML stands for the Hypertext Markup Language. HTML describes the structure of the web page using the markup. HTML is the building blocks. HTML tag are the basic command in HTML to perform the specific tag. Tag are the basic command. Basic tag. It is used for the heading HTML text, basic tag paragraph. And we are going to see the repeated question. Okay. Okay, definition, it predefine HTML instruction, addition, attribute, incomplete HTML purpose, define the structure and element, modify the behavior, represent the specific example table, tr, td, border, user tag are used to include the element and give them the heading, attribute are used, element are the actual component within the document nesting. What is CSS? Casting style sheet is a style sheet language which is used to describe the presentation and appearance of the HTML and XML document. It provides the ability to style and format of content, including the color, font, layout, and the more. Inline CSS is applied directly to the specific HTML element using the style attribute. Internal CSS is defined within the style tag, which is the head section of the HTML document. It applies the style to the multiple element with the same HTML file. For example, head style p, color, font size style. Head external CSS is defined to separate the file to the linked HTML document and the link tag. Link tag it allows the styling the multiple HTML file head. This paragraph is used with the external CSS, external CSS body, style CSS, CSS color, green font size, what is the CSS section, CSS selector are the pattern which is used to select the element that you want to style on the web page. They all use to target the specific HTML element based on their attribute, hierarchy and relationship. Here are the some commonly used CSS selector element selector select the HTML element by their name tag name, for example CSS color blue. CSS sector CSS select the element with the specific class attribute. CSS name are preceded by a dot CSS, for example CSS my class front with bold HTML. ID selector select and single image within a specific ID attribute. ID names are preceded by the hash in CSS. For example, CSS my ID background color yellow division my mind. This division has an ID of my ID division attribute color. Select the element based on their attribute. For example, selecting a element on the hash area containing the specified keyword CSS in href example color red HTML www.example.com. This link contain an example a descendant sector. Select an element that are the descendant of another element. Each uses the space between the two or more selector. For example, CSS division p front side HTML divide URL. What is the tire architecture advantage and disadvantage? Tire architecture is also known as the multi-tire architecture is a software architecture pattern that separates an application into the logical layer of the tire. Advantage of the tire architecture, modularity and separation of the concerns, scalability and ability to scale their tire independent reusability and security. Disadvantage of the tire architecture increase the complexity due to the separation and communication requirement, deployment complexity, management requirement, higher cost due to the additional source such as the server and infrastructure can be overkill for the smaller application with the simpler need. A difference between one tier and two tier architecture. One tier architecture, single machine, all the components of the application, including the user interface, business logic, data storage run on the single machine. Limited scalability, not suitable for the scalable or the distributed system, typically used for the standalone desktop application. Simple, easy to develop and manage the small scale application. Performance generally has a good performance as all the processing occurs. Example, standalone desktop application, simple game, two-tier client server architecture. Component divide the application into the two main component, client and the server. Server responsibility, server manage the business and logic, data storage, scalability, more scalable than the one-tier architecture, suitable for small to the medium scale application. Example, client server database and early web application. Treat our architecture. Treat component is split in the application of the three layers: presentation, application logic, and the data management. Presentation layer handles the user interface. Application layer manage the business logic and application processing. Data layer manage the data storage and retrieve from the database. Scalability, higher scalable and suitable for the large scale distributed system. Example, modern web application, e-commerce platform, enterprise level software. What is XML? XML, extensible markup language, is a markup language designed to store and transfer the data created to provide an easy to use the store and self describing data rules of good XML. And XML element must have the one root element like the JSX, React JSS, etc. All the tag must be closed and can be closed in the element. If has no child, all tags must be properly nested. All the tag name must be abide by the rules. A tag name cannot contain this space. Attribute value must appear within the code. Unnecessary white space must be eliminated. Tag name in case of the sensitive name and name is not same. Advantage and the feature of the XML. Self-destructive XML is the markup tag define the data structure, adding the human and the machine comprehension. A platform independent XML function across the diverse OS software. Extensible user can create the custom element and attribute for the tailored application content representation separation. XML isolate the content from the presentation, enabling the versatile and the data rendering incorporability, facilitate the data exchange across the platform for the widespread integration. Robust tool support XML boost the robust tool. Difference between the XML, HTML, XML, and DDT. Purpose and uses. XML is primarily used for structuring and presenting the web content, syntax, and the text presentation, validation, semantic, generic, browser rendering. Purpose and uses of XML, syntax, and the tag presentation versus data validation. Validation, semantic versus generic, for browser rendering purpose, and uses of the DDT, the document that define the structure and rules for the element, syntax in the tag presentation and the data validation. DDT, semantic versus generic, browser rendering. What are the XML attributes are used to provide the additional information about an XML element. They are used to modify the metadata. XML element are the building block. What is the DDT? DDT is a content type markup language used to define C data enumeration ID, DREF, DREF, and QTF notation. XQRI uses of XQRI, advantage of the XQRI, XQRI both hierarchical and tabular data that can be retrieved. The XPath is the language that used to navigate the query XML document. It is an element-based XML-based API that allows the sequential processing of the XML document. XML DOM advantage of the XML DOM, disadvantage of the always the manipulation navigation provide the standard interface support the both and read and write operation convenient for the small and modularity can be memory intensive for XML document DOM tree create then slowly for the substantial XML file manipulating and recreating